How you going today?
Not too bad, Nick. How are you doing? Thank you for having
Uh,
me.
no, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Horror is a genre that I love so much, so I'm excited to talk to you about it today, and obviously with Baghead. And one of the things that I love about Baghead is the aesthetic of the film, and I love this sort of Guillermo del Toro gothic horror
Yeah.
style, but in a contemporary setting. And I think that's very cool to mix those two worlds together. So, what was that process? What were the decisions like for you for wanting to set, even though Baghead's a contemporary story, have that gothic horror feel to it?
Yeah, it's very appropriate that you mentioned Guillermo del Toro now that we're in Mexico. Yeah, he is one of those directors that is really up there for me. I always say when I have these interviews, I define him like the Guillermo's bastard brother, the one who that's what he does, but in a lower way that you can apply this kind of the magic realism of finding a witch in the basement of a dingy pub. Yes, that was all by design. That's what we did in the short, and that's what we wanted to translate in the feature. And this atmosphere for me was very important. When I spoke to Kale Fino, who is the director of photography, I gave him my references, like Guillermo, but I'm not so exuberant. I wanted more down to earth, grounded. But I also take many references from Japanese horror movies. I think that's the aesthetic that shines through. I hope when you watch some of the scenes of Baghead, you can see that influence. I think is the biggest one that I would have visually.
Oh, that's awesome. And it's a fantastic looking film. And I think on the other side of that as well is with the story of it, and you mentioned the short film as well, is that with a original horror concept, you get to play in a world of new rules and new horror lore. Is that something that excites you as a filmmaker to be able to take the conventions of horror and have your own spin with the world on it?
Obviously, and I would like to maybe in a next project to push it even more because at the beginning you're a bit timid. It's your first feature and you play it a bit more conservative. But definitely, my intention with this movie is to make something because listen, it's very difficult to surprise anyone with horror nowadays. We are all hardened, and when you are a fan, you have watched it and you know what is coming. So for me, it was imperative that at least you have those moments where you say, "Oh shit, I wasn't expecting this." It happens completely different and it subverts the expectations because that was what made the short successful. And that's something that I wanted to translate into the future. And I hope some of it has come through.
No, it absolutely has. It absolutely has. And I think one of the cool aspects of the film is obviously Anne Mueller's physical performance as the character of Baghead. So, what were the conversations like about bringing that physicality of that character to life? What were those conversations with Anne like?
I didn't need to have many. If you met Anne, you would realize, oh shit, you are in trouble because she is so full on. She's just there. When I met her, she is scary without the whole prosthetics. Not because of the appearance, it's her energy. She's so full on. So having her on set, it was brilliant because we needed someone for the short movie. We have an older woman playing it, but I realized we need someone who can bring the physicality, and that's what she does. She's very physical, but I think she also understood the character when the character is also taking the Mickey with the people she's talking to, and when she's playing the old witch that is shuffling around and so on, and the very next moment she's crawling up the ceiling. So she was spot on. I'm very happy with her performance.
Oh, it's incredible. The physicality of it is amazing. And I'd love to sort of wrap up the interview. You mentioned, obviously, in your first answer that this was a short film beforehand, one that you directed as well. So the process of bringing a short film and then expanding it to a feature film is interesting. But I want to know the one thing that you feel like you really got right. The one thing that when you knew you were making this feature film, you went, fuck yeah, we got that right.
Yeah, I think mainly the witch's appearance. We translated it and tried to push it a little bit and managing to keep all the mythology around her, like the 2 minutes, the chair, and the having to swallow an object of the disease, because that is what made it a special story, something that you haven't seen before.
It's incredible, and the physicality of it is amazing. That's my time, but I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. And I love your shirt. That shirt is awesome, by the way. It's
Thank you
such a
very
cool
much.
shirt. I appreciate it. I hope we get to do it again soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me,
Thank
Nick.
you.
Bye bye.